To travel the Gaza Strip is a journey through two vastly different worlds. The squalor endured by Palestinians exists a mere stone's throw away from the leafy comfort of Israel's Gush Katif settlement on the Mediterranean coast. But the tranquility here is misleading. Israel's imminent withdrawal from Gaza means these settlers are now facing eviction. But there are no signs of packing in this heavily guarded community. In fact, a whole new suburb has sprung up.
Hello. ברוכים הבאים, בבקשה.
Thank you.
טוב, בואו נראה את הבית, בית חדש, עדיין בשלבי בנייה. אנחנו מתכננים, בעזרת השם, קומה שנייה, כרגע זה חסום. כשיהיה לנו כסף, בעזרת השם, נרחיב לקומה שנייה. חשוב לראות, זה פה למעלה, כן, אם אפשר לראות, זה בעצם נגד פצמרים שלא ייכנסו, יש פה בעצם פלטות של מתכת. זה נקרא ממ"ד.
18 months ago, David Piamenta received a permit to build a new house, one of 22 permits in this settlement alone. But now Prime Minister Ariel Sharon is offering compensation of about $250,000 to $400,000 to move out by August, or he'll be forced out and receive 30% less.
שרון הוא לא בעל הבית. הוא לא בעל הארץ הזאת. יש מישהו למעלה, ובאותה מידה שבזמנו הוא נתן לנו את הארץ הזאת, כך גם היום. אם הוא יחליט שאנחנו לא נהיה פה, אנחנו לא נהיה פה. אם הוא יחליט שאנחנו נהיה פה, אנחנו נהיה פה. זה בכלל לא תלוי בשרון.
David is a religious studies teacher. He moved here 4.5 years ago with his wife Meirav and their 2 children. She had just completed her national service in Gaza and insisted they come.
והתאהבתי במקום הזה, באנשים, בנוף, בשקט, בים. מאוד מאוד התאים לי. זה היו השנתיים הכי יפות בחיים שלי.
To make the evacuation less painful, the government is also offering to relocate the settler community as a whole to other less volatile areas in Israel proper.
אנחנו לא שק תפוחי אדמה, אנחנו לא עוברים ממקום למקום. יש לנו פה עבודה, יש לנו פה ילדים, צריך לחשוב גם עליהם, צריך לחשוב גם על העבודה. זה לא פשוט שמעבירים בן אדם, יאללה, קדימה, עברו 30 שנה, תעבור למקום אחר. מקווה מאוד שאנחנו לא נגיע ליום הזה. אנחנו עושים כל מאמץ בהרבה תפילות, שזה לא יקרה. נקווה שנצליח.
But not all settlers are united in their opposition to the pullout. Just a few blocks away from David's house, Dateline discovers a family that can't wait to leave Gaza. Meir Rottenstein, his wife and children have been living in fear of being hit by rockets and mortars ever since the second Palestinian uprising began 4 years ago. For them, the news of the disengagement plan was a godsend.
When the government is come out and speaks that we have to move from Gaza. So when he says it, for me it was like a present. Because life like this, I can't live. Even if I'm not thinking about myself, I'm thinking about my kids. I doesn't want to wait and see what happened to them if about the shooting, if they hurt or me. This is not life like this, to live in fear.
And now, things have gone from bad to worse. Because he wants to leave, he's been made a pariah by this tightly knit community.
לכן האדם הזה מבחינתנו מנודה מהחברה. לא בועטים בו ולא מרביצים חס וחלילה וגם לא בצורה אלימה. אבל פשוט האדם הזה מבחינתנו כשהוא מסתובב ברחוב, אתה יודע שהוא כבר לא חבר שלך.
Speaking out has cost Meir his livelihood.
איפה פה?
He once made a decent living selling electrical goods from this shop, but because of his views, he's been boycotted by the community and hasn't had a customer for 12 months.
When someone from the council, he heard me to speak about this, so he came to my shop and told me, you shut your mouth and you don't talk with any television. And from these days, I have no job. I am open the shop. I'm staying to the people, to buying, and nobody coming.
All that's left for him now is to catalogue his stock in preparation for compensation.
In the last months, they make me feel like Gush Katif is something like put me the knife in the heart. And I want to take this knife out.
Now his shop has been vandalised and neighbours will hardly talk to him. So today, he and his family are taking a tour organised by Shuvi, an Israeli peace group which is keen to help the settlers start a new life elsewhere. As the only person to openly say he wants to leave the settlement, Meir is now firmly in the media spotlight.
Judah, Meir's coming on. Yeah.
According to government statistics, a third of the families here have quietly accepted the compensation offer to evacuate. But for fear of ending up like Meir, only 4 families are on the bus.
We would like to thank the 4 families, the 4 brave families, who decided to join this tour today.
But the settlers who refuse to leave Gush Katif say they are the ones being harassed and believe Meir Rottenstein is behind it.
רק אתמול, שלשום, קיבלתי טלפון מתנועת שובי, שהוא מסר את מספרי הטלפון שלנו אליהם, על מנת שיטרידו אותנו שנצא החוצה.
We have not been harassing people, that's not what we do.
Dorit Elder is a member of Shuvi, the Israeli peace organisation. She's adamant that Shuvi has not harassed anyone, but simply wants to assist those wishing to leave Gaza.
There are a lot that cannot express it publicly because the few that expressed it paid such a heavy social price for that there are many more that we speak to, very quietly, and they voice a very similar opinion, but they cannot express it publicly because they can't pay the price, and because they're afraid of losing jobs, and because they think that the neighbours will stop speaking to them, and because the children will be beaten up at school.
Guys, we're late.
They've arrived at Eshkol in the Negev desert to speak with the local council, which is promoting an alternate site for Gush Katif residents to put down new roots. Uri Namati is the mayor of Eshkol. He's excited about the prospect of expanding his city by 10,000 residents.
אנחנו רוצים להגיע ל-20,000 תושבים, ואנחנו רואים בהתפנות מגוש קטיף הזדמנות למועצה שלנו, כמו
חשוב לי לדעת איזה תחום של תעסוקה, בוא נאמר אם זה בנושא חקלאות או משק, ואני אעבור לתחום של יחליט ויעבור לנושא של משק או חקלאות. אני חשבתי על רעיון שרק במידה וזה יהיה אפשרי, לול תרנגולות לביצים או מכסה של ביצים או אני לא יודע.
טוב, נגיד ככה, לולי תרנגולות אנחנו לא מעודדים פה במועצה. המועצה שלנו מתבססת בחקלאות, על חקלאות של גידולי שדה וחממות.
Meir and his family leave the meeting disheartened that the area did not live up to their expectations.
This is good they took us, but this is not for me.
Why?
Because the place is good, but it's far and this is not, I can't find a job.
Unlike Meir, Shlomo Vazatil is a Gush Katif settler who refuses to leave.
לא צריך רק אם יש שווארג אספר צריך להוציא אותו, זה הכל, לא לנקות את זה, אין זמן, אתם מנקים, כל הזמן אתם מפסידים, עוד מעט הולכים.
He's spent 22 years building up his greenhouse business and sells flowers all over the world. These exports have made Shlomo a wealthy businessman. He employs Arab workers from nearby Han Yunis refugee camp and other cheap labour from Thailand and Nepal. Ironically, they'll all be out of work if he's evicted. Is it possible to move all this and put it somewhere else?
What do you think?
Big job. You'll need many trucks.
Many trucks, and many work, and not enough time.
Yes.
Not enough time. So, I told you, we are staying here. That's all.
Despite his thriving business, life isn't comfortable for Shlomo. In his office, he keeps a collection of rockets and mortars.
23.
More than 20 have hit his greenhouse.
We have the bomb here, come just on the windows of the house, directly.
Last year, this female Thai worker was killed in a Palestinian mortar attack. But despite this, he's adamant he won't be moving.
Etc., etc.
What do you think when you hear from the international community saying that the settlements are illegal under international law? What do you say to that?
You listen? It's our neighbour. It's our neighbour. The Arab peoples. In the next maybe 6 months, if we go out, he became very hungry.
Shlomo's reaction is typical of many settlers who deny they're living on Palestinian land. They also don't regard their presence in the region as an impediment to peace with the Palestinians.
And working here. Off.
After producing 3 generations here, fighting for Israel in all its wars, and keeping the Greater Israel ideal alive for 28 years, he cannot accept that he's about to be turfed out.
התוכנית של שרון היא תוכנית גרועה ביותר, חמור ביותר. חבל לי שאני צריך לדבר כך על ראש ממשלה שלי, שעושה דבר כל כך נורא בישראל. אין עוד מדינה בעולם שיכולה לקחת חלק מאזרחיה ולזרוק אותם מהבית החוצה בלא כלום. אין עוד דבר כזה בעולם, ולא משנה מה תהיה הסיבה. שתהיה הסיבה הכי מוצדקת.
Shlomo will not be leaving with nothing, but stands to lose 30% of his compensation if he stays and fights. Today, Shlomo will join a mass protest about the forthcoming evictions, which the government calls disengagement. Shlomo's banner reads, "I am also engaging. Sharon is tearing the nation apart." Along the way, he spots some of his friends from the police force.
שנים לא ראיתי אותך. וואלה. שנים. מה שלומך?
As thousands of supporters come in solidarity with the settlers, the police and soldiers keep a watchful eye. 10,000 soldiers and 18,000 police are being specially trained to remove the settlers from their homes and deal with hardcore opponents. After much debate, the Israeli government has decided not to destroy the homes when the settlers go, leaving them for the Palestinians as a goodwill gesture.
Gush Katif.
The thought of having their Arab neighbours move into their houses adds fuel to the fire. In hindsight, was it a mistake to allow the settlements to be built in Gaza?
No. When we built the settlements, it was a different situation. Things change in the Middle East. This is a rapidly changing environment. We're talking about 30, 20 years ago, where the settlements did serve a security purpose at the time.
Ra'anan Gisson is Prime Minister Sharon's advisor and media spokesperson.
The benefit was that as long as these settlements were there, and were defending and were holding, they created they cut Gaza into 3 parts. So there was no possibility of the terrorist groups to unite or to move together and operate against Israel. It's a small area. Now, situation changed. There's a new leadership, and that leadership wants to move on the road to peace.
But as the Israeli government prepares to withdraw from Gaza, plans to expand settlements around Jerusalem and the West Bank are already underway. Here in Bethlehem, Israel's security barrier cuts through Palestinian territory to ensure the settlement on the hill, Gush Etzion, remains in Israel and becomes part of Jerusalem. Jerusalem's borders appear to be expanding. Are you sacrificing Gaza so you can continue expanding settlements in the West Bank?
We're not expanding settlements in the West Bank. We are establishing defensive lines. If the Palestinians don't want to to move against terror, then that's where those defensive lines will stay for as long as they don't, as they miss this opportunity. Now, this opportunity may not come back again. So it's up to them if this will be the end or the beginning.
Okay, so you're pulling out of Gaza now. When will you be pulling out of the West Bank?
No, look, we're pulling out of one of the 4 settlements in Samaria, and then we will stand and wait. If the Palestinians fulfill their obligations and fight terrorism and bring about a cessation of incitement, of violence, as they pledge they will do, then we can move to the first phase of the roadmap to peace.
It's these remarks that are guaranteed to enrage these protesters. Tonight, tens of thousands have come to Jerusalem to oppose any evictions and any negotiations with the Palestinians. These are Lubavitch Jews, an influential worldwide Jewish religious movement. For them, ceding what they see as God-given land to the Palestinians is a crime against the Jewish people. And they will not tolerate any detour from the ideal of a greater Israel, which stretches from the Nile River to the Euphrates. They say they'll stage a bloody showdown that will leave soldiers and settlers dead in the streets.
This is the evening where we become radicals. Today we are not going to play any more games. These people, these young people are going to be radicalizing themselves, and they are going to do things that nobody's have seen in this country.
What kind of things?
What kind of things? We are going to prevent Sharon from carrying out his plan. We are not going to allow him to uproot the beautiful creation in Gush Katif, in the Gaza Strip.
And how are you going to do this?
It depends. It depends on what are going to be the means used by the government. And assuming that there are going to be soldiers, also 6 soldiers, carrying out weapons to uproot civilian people, we are going to receive them with weapons, of course.
Rabbi Yasef Dayan issues a chilling warning to Ariel Sharon. He says if the Prime Minister goes ahead with the disengagement plan, he will suffer the same fate as one of his predecessors, Yitzhak Rabin, assassinated by an Israeli for talking peace with the Palestinians.
About Judaism,
Dayan says he placed a curse on Rabin.
I carried out the Pulsa de Nura against Rabin. 1 month later, he was assassinated. By whom, I have no idea, but he was killed. There are many people wishing the death of Sharon. And I said, he is right. I am among them. I really wish him to die.
זאת הבעיה שלנו.
Shlomo Vazatil has also come along tonight and expresses his delight in the support of the extreme right.
טוב, אני חושב שדבר ראשון, אני מאוד שמח שלובביץ' נכנסו לתמונה, כי ברגע שהם נכנסים לתמונה, התמונה מאוד משתנת באווירה הכללית בארץ. זאתי חסידות, זאתי כת, מאוד שמחה, מאוד אהודה, וגם יודעת לשמור על הדרך, אבל מאוד מאוד נאמנה על הדרך. ואני חושב שבאמת הם מאוד יסייעו לנו באווירה הכללית. הם מרשים לעצמם לומר מה שאנחנו מתביישים לומר.
Like this soldier, the troops that may eventually be used to evict the settlers are threatening revolt. These soldiers have already been dismissed from the army for disobeying orders, but tonight they're being celebrated as heroes.
אין כאן בכלל עניין של שלום. לא יהיה שלום. כל הסימנים אומרים שאין שלום ולא יהיה שלום. לא בטווח הנראה לעין.
אני אשתדל לעשות כל מה שאני יכולה כדי שזה לא יקרה. כי זה נורא והיום אם זה יקרה. איפה יהיה הגבול שלי? מה שיגידו ראשי ההנהגה. מה שיגידו הרבנים, מה שיגידו ראש המועצה, המטה, אנשי המאבק. אני אלך לפי מה שיאמרו.
זה יגרום לכעס, כאב, קרע. יהיה מאוד קשה. זה כמו, הם ממש נערכים לזה בצורה מדהימה. זה 18,000 שוטרים, תגים, בלי תגים, מותר להם להרביץ, לא יהיה מח"ש, מחלקת חקירות של השוטרים. זאת אומרת, אתה מרגיש ממש כמו איזה אויב מספר אחת. זאת אומרת, אין לנו אויבים עכשיו, אנחנו אויבים. זה נורא, ממש נורא, זה הרגשה נוראית.
מה מצלמת אותו?
מצלמת איזה מסגרת שלא נהיה פה, שאיזה מקום דרק עזב כמה.
For Meir and his family, with compensation on the way, they can finally get ready to leave.
בטח לפני 20 שנה, לא עכשיו.
My wish is to go from here how fast as I can, so that I can find a job and build a new life in some place else, and continue to live like usual life.